Bitcoin continues to show weakness on these smaller time frames, with lower highs being set on the 1 hour time frame. We do find ourselves battling out on the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA, all around that $42,700 to $42,800. In today's video, guys, we're going to be jumping into the technical analysis on the 1 hour, 1 day, and 1 week's time frames, sharing my thoughts and opinions on where I think Bitcoin is going. Let's roll that intro and get right down into it. Okay, guys, we're going to start things off here on the 1 hour time frame. This is a Bitcoin paired up with USDT 1 hour Binance chart. And we're going to just focus in on where the price is at this current moment in time, right? So as we kind of said in the intro there, we are battling out on the 50 EMA and 50 SMA, right? So the red line that comes through our chart here, this is the 50 EMA. It comes in at $42,770. And you can see that it has been a bit of resistance and support in the past for BTC over the last couple of days or so. And you can see that we did break up above it. Okay, then we have the yellow line. The yellow line is a 50 SMA, a simple moving average, coming in at $42,832. And you can see we've broken above here, and we are seeing whether or not we can turn this area into a support range for Bitcoin. If we can turn it into support, we might have a chance of rallying up towards our white line. This is the 200 hourly EMA, coming in at $43,422. So if we can rally up, that's the next area of resistance. It will still, of course, be a lower high based on the previous high that we saw right up here, coming in at $43,578. This was, of course, right inside our expected range. Now, it is still possible, and as I said yesterday, that we rally on up and we re-tap into this slightly higher range. However, knowing that this is above the 200 EMA, I think there's a low probability of this. And of course, we also have to take into consideration the stochastic RSIs, which are showing us now with a cross of the yellow line crossing the white line here, indicating momentum is shifting to the downside, not to the upside now. This is a bearish tell, considering it's overbought. We are, of course, going to be looking at these lower ranges. So I would expect price to start to cool off down. Anything lower than $42,050 essentially is going to give us our bearish structures, kind of wipe out the idea of moving up higher and take us down a little bit deeper in terms of the price action. So if we are to hold where we currently are, a new trend line will start forming here, where we'll see a downward trend line where we have this resistance. Price would, of course, have to come back down lower than the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA and lower than $42,050, heading out more towards 41.5. And if we do lose the 41.5, we've broken the swing low, we'll have a break of structure indicating we have further to the downside to go. At the moment, our target range for this is down here in this yellow box. This yellow box area is, of course, coming in at $40,261 to $41,028. This being the area where I think we have the highest probability of a bounce. So if we are to completely break on down into this fifth wave, this bounce area from here, from that kind of $40,000 up towards, I would say $45,000 to $46,000 is where I would expect us to kind of bounce to. Okay, so although we can see here on the 1 hour time frame a short move to the downside, after this is complete, my expectations are a bigger relief rally. That relief rally could be pretty significant, anywhere really of around 10 to 13%, something like that. And that could be very lucrative for Bitcoin long positions. So we'll keep that in mind. But all in all, everything on the 1 hour time frame is looking very, very interesting for BTC, right? We've kind of been ranging sideways. We've got a couple of higher highs and now we're in higher lows. And we still have got higher lows here and lower highs on this chart. So we do want to kind of consider there's a potential breakout situation or breakdown situation coming for BTC probably over the next few days or so. So if we throw on our smart money concepts here, you can see that my expectation will be to move up towards equilibrium once we complete these lows. Going down lower here is going to get you into the discounted range, which is this yellow range down here. And if we can get a closed position lower than 41,500, that essentially is going to put us with a change of characterization to confirm our break of structure, to confirm our change of characterization is in fact true, and we are in fact bearish on Bitcoin. The relief rally to the upside is unlikely to change that, unless, of course, we break higher than 48,969, which is very, very unlikely, in my opinion, at this stage. So everything on the 1 hour time frame is looking pretty tidy. Now, if we bring up our stochastics here again and turn them off and throw on our divergence indicators, this is going to show us whether or not the RSI, the relative strength index, has any divergence with price action. And we can see that there was hidden bearish divergence here yesterday at 2300 hours UTC. You can see here that this doesn't really correspond with much in terms of the price action. So I think this is actually going to carry forward just a little bit, and we're likely to see this next big move to the downside. So last time we saw a hidden bearish divergence, it did come in just before we had this move down towards $42,000. So it could be that as a false flag, we had a small move and then we just recovered a little bit, or it's going to indicate a bigger move to the downside. This one's a little bit harder to read, so I wouldn't rely on it 100%. Now, from our volume profiles, you can see that there's a small amount of increase in volume as prices pushed up, but again, volumes are significantly decreased over where they were previously. For example, a huge amount of selling pressure bringing us down into that 42,000, and since we started to see this kind of area here sitting above 42,000, volumes are lower. So yeah, we'll read into that as time kind of progresses here. Ultimately, my expectations are that volumes will start picking up as price pulls back again, as people start to fear what is going on with Bitcoin, a common thing that goes on here. Roll this up into a 4 hour time frame. I'm going to turn smart money concepts off there. We can see that the stochastic RSI still actually has some room to the upside here, but it doesn't have to continue moving up. So I'm watching out to see whether or not we're going to get any crosses going on with the 4 hour stochastic RSI. So just kind of keep a little bit of an open mind. We might have a little bit higher to push here according to the 4 hour time frame. But, sometimes it doesn't quite play out exactly as you would expect. Turn that off, throw on the divergence indicator. Nothing major going on. With this all bullish divergence down here before we got this rally to the upside. That's all okay. Volume profiles, again, you can see volume profiles are decreasing rapidly here as we started to see this short correction to the downside. And even more so since we started to see a relief rally a little bit, or a little tiny relief rally on the 4 hour time frame. Ultimately, the volume profile is telling us there's very little appetite for BTC at these price points. So big volatility is potentially on the horizon here if there isn't a lot of liquidity at this range. I will keep an open mind as to kind of where that is going to lead us to later. Let's take this up into the daily. The daily is still fighting out on the 50 EMA and 50 SMA. You can find support on the 50 EMA coming in at 42,182, and the 50 SMA, the yellow line there, is currently being resistance, coming in at 42,988. So here we have plenty of room to lift up higher. So again, I'm looking for that relief rally. I'm not looking for it to happen right away though. I'm looking for that move down 40,000, then we move up towards 46,000, lifting the stochastics from the oversold to overbought areas. At the moment, if I bring this in, you can see there's a little bit of an interesting downturn here on the yellow line, and the white line's actually lifting up. This could be another bearish cross on our stochastic RSIs, so something to kind of keep in mind. There. Now, there's no divergences. I've looked at that already. Volume profiles are, of course, dropping down as we have this kind of sideways move, meaning that we're looking for bigger volatility in the market. Other than that, there's not much to really report on our daily time frame. The same with the weekly, really. We're correcting down quite nicely, but the monthly just hasn't really budged yet. So I'm still expecting more significant moves to the downside over time here for BTC. I don't think there's any divergences. Nope, no divergence indicators, and the RSI is also high, so we are looking for bigger corrections. And again, I'm still targeting out towards that 50% fib level at 32,000. 30,000 as be the lower side of this area here. As you can kind of see this little gray area, this gray area is essentially where I think we're likely to find demand. It was previous support turned to resistance. We're looking to come back down and turn it into support. It's basically $30,000 to $33,000, and that also happens to coincide with the 50% retracement area on our all-time high to bear market low Fibonacci retracement tool. So everything going on here is pretty much textbook at the moment. Rejection on the 786, no closes above the 702, and we will be looking to find brief support probably around the 618. That's 38,900, and then lose that and move down more towards 30,000. But this is going to be something that takes several months to play out, in my humble opinion. Not something that will happen overnight and instantaneously. So that is going to roll up and finish off today's video. But if you are interested in your altcoins, why not check out this video right here where I'm discussing Cardano's ADA, and I think it has massive potential in the future.